Word, me either. We live right now since you said that. You understand what I'm saying?
Just
So,
make my introduction. I make hers.
word. So you are here right now in the mix with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Harlem's own BossedUp Staxx, for this Boss Talk session broadcasted live every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Through the Knowledge Radio. So it becomes my honor and privilege at this time to introduce the son, present the others, Harlem's own, Harlem's own, Harlem's own Boss Staxx.
Yo, what's the vibes? How y'all doing on this election day, man? I hope y'all voted for the right president. A lot of y'all women are so good at picking the wrong man that y'all might have voted for the wrong president, but it's all good though. You feel me? Um, I want to introduce to y'all a special guest. We tried to get her on this show about a month and a half ago. She has a very intriguing story, something that might be life changing for somebody else. Her life, you know, is unique. Introduce yourself, Queen.
Hey guys, I'm Sherelle, very good friend of Stacks. What's going on? How are you?
I'm good. So I tuned into one of your lives one day, and you was talking about mental health and how it affects do we think as parents that our kids should attend uh mental health psychiatrist um things and how that affects the kid. Like just expound on that real quick.
Um, well, for me personally, I can't speak for nobody else in my household. Every time the school told my grandmother or my father, oh, she needs to see somebody who thinks she has mental issues, it was always, oh, nothing's wrong with her. She just doing what she want to do. When deep down inside, I was hurting. I had abandonment issues. My father was gone. My mother was gone. You know what I'm saying? So you deal with those kind of things and everything. Good night. Everything was swept under the rug in a black hole. So I was going through some things. Like some, I can't get into what I want to get into, but I was going through some things as a kid, and I did need to speak to somebody because I was hurting. Main issue was, my mom. I heard her say it to a judge, like, "I'm giving my rights away. Like I don't want to raise no kids. I don't want no kids." I'm 6 years old at the time, and we in family court. I believe I was 5 or 6. And then I had my dad go, and he gets married, and he moves in the same building I'm living in, and it's like, you leave your kids with your mom. So this was well after his life was already put together. So, those things bother kids. And that's why, for me, even though none of my children live with me, if they ever want to see somebody, speak to somebody, go with me to my sessions, I will allow them to come because that's healing. It's really healing. I've been dealing with a psychiatrist now for 5 years, and it works for me. It really works for me.
So so do you believe that the stigma that's attached to having a kid see a psychiatrist affects them in a negative way? Like, they say there's a stigma that's attached to being a homosexual. Like they believe that if you're homosexual that you automatically have AIDS, right?
Right.
So a kid seeing a psychiatrist, do you believe that they're gonna say, well, this child is retarded. This child
Hmm.
is right.
Right.
Um,
But that's
how
our fault.
and like what do you think that we need to do as a people to break that stigma?
The
Oh,
signs are
you just
there always. Doesn't no kid act up for no reason? No kid joins this gang for no reason. No kid picks up this drug for no reason. No kid is an alcoholic for no reason. I can honestly say to you that between the ages of 6 and 14, 365 days out of the year, I don't know how many school days it is. Say if the school days is 250. Out of 250 days of school days, 200 of them days, I'm acting out, I'm suspended, I'm fighting, I'm cursing, I'm yelling, I'm screaming. That's because I'm hurting. And I can't speak to nobody because it's be quiet. Ain't nothing wrong with you. Don't say what happened goes on. So I have all of that bottled up who I'm gonna talk to. How else I'm express myself? I noticed that when I am doing bad though, my dad is around. So if that's gonna keep him around, I have to start keep doing this. You understand what I'm saying? I know that
Yeah.
now, and I knew that then too. So for me, like I said, how I would do it is the signs are there. Like for me, again, if I was to have my children live with me, that would be a norm for us. We would go together because of what they've been through as children, not having their mom. For my oldest son is 14. He didn't have me for his first 9 years. My middle son is 13. He didn't have me for his first 8. Arion he's gonna be 8. But I've been in and out, consistent for the last 5, but for the first 3, in and out. You understand what I'm saying? So we would go as a family, weekly or bi-weekly, if they were with me. Definitely. Because them kids is hurt. They hurting. They grandfather, they aunts, they step grandmother or they great grandmother gotta take them to school, not their mother. My 8-year-old son gotta explain to his friends, and I be hearing him when he at my house. He has to explain to his friend, oh well, wait, you said you at your mom's house, but you're going back home? You don't live with your mom? So he's getting older. And when I hear him explain it, he'll be a little irritable, like, yeah, I told you this already. Them kids are hurting. And if it was up to me, that's what we would do. We have those sessions in my house when they come to my house. We sit, no TV, we sit. Hey, what's going on with you? What you think about? Because my kids know everything. They know every drug I was on, me eating out the trash, me prostituting, me being homeless, me being a drug dealer, me robbing people, me going to prison, everything. My kids know everything. Down to Arion. Down to Arion. And he's only 8. Because I'm not going to lie to them. I'm not going to sugarcoat what it is. No, I was smoking crack, and then I was sniffing dope, and I was alcoholic, and then I had to sleep with this man to get this. Yeah, I had to explain that to them. So we talk about that. Hey, so, what's going on? How you feel? My oldest son told me what he's going through, what he was going through at the time. My middle son is really nonchalant, but that's the one you got to watch. Because nothing bothers, or so you think. It's a lot bothering. You understand? Arion, only thing he knows is his auntie and his uncle Troy. But the more I talk to him, and I know that once he gets a little older, he'll start to gravitate to me because our relationship is getting a little bit more better. But it's something that we do all the time when they come to my house. If they're at my house for 2 days, 3 days, one of those, we're gonna sit and talk about issues. Drugs, school, hanging out, gangs, all of that.
Do you feel like peer pressure plays a role in what takes place with the youth outside of what's going on inside the home?
Of course. Of course. For me, fortunately for me, nobody pressured me into doing nothing. Nobody pressured me into fighting when I was in school. Nobody pressured me into doing nothing until I was 17. And I got with a man that was 35. And that's all I knew was this man while I'm down south living in North Carolina. I'm from New York. Can you imagine? I'm from New York. I'm in North Carolina. It's like, what? Yo, I got all of these people want to be around me. And it's like, oh, well, what you doing? You sniffing coke? Let me get some that. Nobody knows. My grandmother don't know. My great grandmother, nobody knows this stuff. My cousins don't know because it's dipping in and out of their bathroom. So it's always some kind of peer pressure. Peer pressure definitely plays a part. For me, it was a man that I thought I loved or cared about that turned me all the way out.
I remember I posted something on Facebook and you was like super emotional about it. Like, oh my God, it was like the worst thing that you ever saw, right? And I'm like, um, I said, I posted, I said, Black Lives Matter only matter when it's another ethnic background killing a black person. Black lives don't matter when it's two black men killing each other. Um,
Right, because
explain why you felt such a way.
in our community is not predominantly white. You understand? So therefore, again, I don't support Black Lives Matter. I don't. I don't support it. And I don't support it because We didn't make that up. You understand? We did. That's not done by us. It's a white man behind Black Lives Matter. That's why I don't. For me, that's just for me personally. But I felt some type of way because white people kill each other all the time. They kill their parents. They go in these schools and shoot up these schools. They kill each other all the time. And you never hear, oh well, white on white crime.
So and that's the reason why when I posted it and you commented, it seems so emotional um
because we are our own enemies.
no, but listen,
Yeah,
you
we
when I
know it's a problem. We know it's a problem in our community with us, but we cannot just talk about it. We have to do something. We have to do something. And if that means, for me personally, I do what I can. When I'm getting my children, I get my nephew, I get my friend's daughter, and I get my other cousin because they growing up. And I'm still cool. Regardless if I'm yelling at them or whatever, I'm still cool. I'm just not mentally where I used to be. So I've grown some. But I'm still that cool person. So I try to get as many kids in my household as I can because I didn't have that. We got dressed and we got fly to go hang out. And at my son's age, at 14 years old, I could drink you under the table at 14. I was smoking cigarettes at 10, inhaling and exhaling. So again, that's how I try to help in my community. I try to bring clothes to the shelter when I can. I go to my neighbor's house and I clean up and cook different things. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it bothered me. We quick to say, well, it don't matter when we're killing each other. No, it does matter. What I mean is Black lives should matter to those who are here to protect and serve us. That's why I took offense. That's why I
but
took offense.
but
Excuse me. I'm at work.
but when I posted it, I know where you at, man. So when I posted it, right,
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't your argument though, right? Your argument was more so like I'm a black mother, like, and my kid may have to go through these different things, and I'm like, wait, hold on. Um, so what I'm saying in this particular post has to do more so with how we'll kill each other, and there's no Black Lives Matter. There's no thought process about Black Lives Matter, but it matters only when a cop is the one that's killing us, or when it's a white man that's killing us. And it's if Black Lives Matter, it should matter all the time, and not just because we're being killed by a white guy. You understand?
I understand that. You see how reading something and talk and saying it is very different?
Oh, I can read, so I don't do stuff like that.
Well, for me, I can read too, but I know I was just like, how fucking dare come talk about this when we're going through this?
And look, and it's
I have
funny
three
because
children. Three
hold on,
boys,
wait. Let me interrupt you. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I gotta say this because I remember uh our good friend, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man uh Kareem, you know what I'm saying? You know, still Kawhi respectfully in three. We don't care about LeBron, but that's another story. Um so shout out to him because I remember when I posted it, he made a statement and I said, "Yo, bro, it wasn't no white people in the midst of Popeyes stomping each other out and killing each other over a chicken sandwich. It was a bunch of black people that was doing this all over." And he said, "I understand where you're coming from. I'm gonna leave it at this." He said, "It's just the wrong time."
right. No, I
Right?
get it. I get it
So now peep game, no, peep game, right? So for me, I said, when is the right time to talk about it though? If now is not the right time to talk about it, because George Floyd had just got killed by the police. When is the right time to speak about?
now. Now, you see how you can bring that up now? Because there's nobody killing nobody. It's not right now. Today. You should bring that up today. That should be your post tomorrow.
But why not? Why not talk about how people are caught up in a discrepancy on which president should they vote for, right? Because you have Donald Trump, who's like obnoxious asshole, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Joe Biden, who was from the '90s, right? Sending African Americans to prison. Then he was the vice president when Obama was the
Question.
president.
Question. I'm a felon
Hold
three
on,
times, right?
hold on, wait.
Were those black people committing the crimes though? Don't act like they was getting sent to jail for no reason.
Oh
Anytime I
man,
went to jail, I did something. I robbed that man. I sold that drug. You understand?
we
I
listen.
broke into
We
that Macy. I did those
so
things.
all right. Listen, I just want to say this, right? So now
But
you said you had 3 felonies, right?
yes.
All right. You know that people was going to jail during the time in which Obama was the president and Joe Biden was the vice president, right? For 2 reasons, right? One, they was going to jail because they was trying to make Obama look bad, right? They was trying to
Mm-hmm.
make Obama look like he wasn't doing his job. This is the first African American president, right, on paper, right? So they had to make him look like he wasn't doing his job. When the vice president, Joe Biden, was the one that was setting the law to get us placed in prison, right?
Right.
Then they start trying to make it seem like African American fathers don't take care of themselves. We are being torn from our households because we have a vice president that's setting a law, right? In which
Mm-hmm.
that is designed that's even more designed for us to fail, right?
Right. Right.
So
I'm
check
so
it.
sorry that I gotta end this. I'm so sorry. But can we I'm not gonna take no overtime on Tuesday next week, I promise you. And can we please do this next Tuesday?
All right, so just give me 2 more minutes of your time, real quick. We could
Okay, go
we could
ahead.
lay off that. All right.
All right.
I heard that you write in a book.
I am.
Tell us the name of the book. Tell us where we'll be able to find it in due time, and what is the book pretty much outlined or based on?
The book outlines how the title of the book, I'm not too sure yet. It's gonna be out by next year, August 13th, 2015. That's the day that I got clean. It's gonna focus on I'm telling the stories of when I was in the streets, what I was doing in the streets, like things that happened to me. And I'm gonna throw this out there, the molestations within the family. You understand what I'm saying? Like all of that's in there. I don't know if people are gonna be ready for it. That's not my concern. My concern is I have to get right with me. I have to let that out because it's somebody's child, it's some adult, man or woman that has been through that needs to know that you can make it out of that. I was an addict for 16 years. I was a crackhead, a crackhead for 16, an alcoholic for 16, and I was a dope fiend for 10. So I've ate out of plenty of garbage cans. I went months without bathing. I've done numerous jail stints. I've been to prison. Kids by 3 different men. All of that's gonna be in there every day. How it started and how I made it out.
So pretty much it's a story about your life.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I'm not using no names,
yeah,
no
I mean,
fake
I'm glad that
characters, no
I was
names,
about
nothing.
I was about to tell you don't use no names because during this interview you named your sister, your uncle, your cousin, your kids. You start giving everybody names. I said she name dropping like crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, well, whatever. Okay, but in my book, no, no names
A
at
person just
all.
gonna have to know who they are.
Yeah, you just gotta read it to
you,
know if you
you,
in there or not.
you in there, but I couldn't say your name because I ain't want to get sued.
Right. And then
Well,
not even, and you don't know how some family members are gonna take it.
right. Well,
Everybody ain't happy for you.
listen. Give a shout out to anybody that you want to shout out real quick or whatever.
Um,
I thank you for just making the time to be on the
Thank you. I
show
want to give a
or
shout out
whatever.
to the Almighty Creator, man. Without him, I'm nothing. I couldn't be where I am today. Nothing without my Lord and Savior at all. My children know I love them, my sister, my dad, everybody. You, I love you. I remember, real quick. Everybody always asks me, well, how you know that? I was like, this is a long story, but vividly, I remember one day telling you I needed a t-shirt. I couldn't go outside because I had a t-shirt. I think I hadn't bathed in like 3 months. But that didn't bother to you. And I was like, but I'm hungry and I need you. Like, all right, take the t-shirt off your back. You put the t-shirt on me and you grab me by my hand and people were looking at you like, you know this girl's a fucking crackhead. And you will hug me and everything, and you bought me food every time. I love you. I will never forget those conversations, the prayers, everything. I love you, but I have to go.
One.
All right.
All right. Yeah, that was a very special guest because I watched the transformation of her life or whatever, and I know that different things that we spoke about during that 20-minute time is real, and it's even more real for someone else that may or may not be going through it. I asked different questions that during that time because I was trying to speed through the interview because I knew that she didn't have the time necessary for us to just, you know, kind of slow stroke the interview, so to speak. Um, I just wanted to, allow y'all to get the opportunity to hear her perspective and input on different walks, right? Like she just told you that she was a crackhead, a alcoholic, a dope fiend, um, but because she wasn't there for her kids and her sister and brother-in-law was, did it make her less of a mother? Like she showed them when she could or whatever. Because she was in and out, did it make her less of a mom or whatever? And because we don't know what the future has in store for us, we have to take advantage of those particular opportunities. Just trying to get right or whatever. And when she was called, when it was her time, she was ready. Um, Hopefully one day we can get her back on the show, and we'll be able to do it all over again. With a more sound platform, because I want women to be able to hear her story, and hopefully it touches someone, right? Like you could come on my show and share your story, you could share your business. Like she says she's writing a book or whatever. That's her personal business. She's gonna hope to make some kind of money off of it or whatever. Um, I don't know where my co-host is at this particular moment. This is gonna be the part of the show where him and I go back and forth, and we it'll be the Q&A. Um, if you are a married couple and you don't mind you and your spouse coming on the show, I want to promote black love. I want to promote black marriages. I want to promote black unity. So if you are African American and you are interested in investing a half an hour to an hour of your time with your spouse, where y'all can show y'all love at least once a month. I just want different black lovers to come on my show and enjoy the opportunity to be here and explain how y'all was able to love each other during the times of trials and tribulations, during the hardship, because we got to get back to loving ourselves and loving each other, right? We have to get back to that particular place. Like I was saying about Joe Biden, this is a guy that was stealing men and women from their kids. That like the I think the percentage rate with him as the vice president it went up significantly, about 85%, during the time in which Obama was the president, and that was the reason why Obama in his second term decided to do that thing where he was letting go of a lot of inmates that had unreasonable sentences or whatever because he was paying attention to the numbers, and it's no reason or no way that a person deserves to be in jail for stealing a bag of chips for 20 years. Like that's a what is that? Um, but um, but the thing that we kind of miss in that regard had a lot more to do with the fact that we know who the president is and don't know who the vice president is, or we forget right now that we have to start voting for Congress and senators. Um, these presidents don't do anything. Like Joe Biden is not gonna do anything to make this country better. Trump is not gonna do anything to make this country better. You have to get some African American senators or congressmen on that chair, on that board, or whatever. Push out the ones that's there and get some of us on the board. Knowledge, where you at, man? Knowledge born. What's the science, man? Talk to me.
Not if you talking about voting, you ain't talking to me.
Huh?
Not if you talking about voting, you ain't talking to me.
No, I was speaking about voting generally. We held this conversation where I told you we have to vote for Congress and we have to vote for African American senators to sit on the seat or whatever. This is how you change the world, not
To
putting
work for who? Who they gonna work for?
well, if we have African Americans, congressmen and senators sitting on the board, we have people that's going to work on our behalf as opposed to ha- continuing to have uh, white presidents who are trying to send all Africans back to Africa where there's no opportunity, um or another president that's a sexist, another these dudes, their background shows a whole level of racism. We have to get our people on the senators board. We have to get our people on the Congress board.
Who the police work for?
Who the police work for? They work for themselves. What are you talking about?
That's the same people who the Senate and the Congress work for themselves. They ain't worried about you. They ain't worried about me.
you know, I mean, but don't they make the law?
No,
Okay,
they do what they
they
told.
don't. Okay, well
They
everybody,
sign bills into law that affect life that they're not even going to exist for, or they're not even affected by.
every
Most Congress and senators, they in their office until they die. Most of them die. They die in their office. They go through an
well,
electoral process, either biannual, or every 4 years. Well,
who did
most
you
of them is every 2 years, biannual.
who did you vote for?
Me,
Oh, you voted for
I'm not
yourself. Good
American.
vote.
I'm not American.
Oh,
That might apply to whoever's an American and participate in that part of the American life. I soldiered. I killed people for this country. That's my vote. I'm
that
good.
makes sense.
I don't got no conversation about no voting, no electoral process. I seen what this government does to other countries, to other people, and whatever. You understand? Like I'm good. I did my time uh,
It's
in
funny.
the American construct.
I was speaking to a young lady
I'm
this
good.
morning. I was telling her. I said one of the scariest things in the world is that um I agree. I agree with the unrealistic standpoint of us needing to have reforms for convicted felons. Right? It's unrealistic because why would they have a reform for a convicted felon when they don't even have anything for a person that fought for the country, right? I know. I work with a guy that fought for the country. He's a veteran, never been convicted, none of these things, and he makes $15 an hour. This country didn't have anything to give him after he fought for it. So why would they give a person that came home from prison anything more than they gave a person that actually fought? Like,
America don't owe me shit but reparations. That's the only conversation I'm having with America. Reparations. That's it.
what do you feel like we need to do as a people to break this cycle and get our due?
Burn the place down to the ground.
Say what?
Burn it down to the ground. That's where you get change outside of America. For people who be talking shit about people who be rioting and protesting and looting and shit like that, they need to leave America and go see how the world lives. It ain't called rioting and looting in Russia. It's called, oh, they ran out of rice. In South America, it ain't even called crime. It's called living. That's a way of life. And they see you a tourist, you come in there, you shining. It's just like the block. You walk around shining and people starving, they coming to see you. It's called a way of life. So the situation benefits off of the robber and the person who get robbed. You see what I'm saying? So when you're dealing in a society that, rewards this type of behavior, this is the behavior that's there. So somebody got to go to jail. Somebody got to die. You got to pay to be born. You got to pay to die. That's an eternal debt system right there that you exist in. This system can't work for your benefit. The more you make, the more they take. So how is that beneficial to you? You see what I'm saying? So if you in that position, somebody coming to see you if they ain't got it. That's the way the world works. We see capitalism in America on one scale, but we ain't never seen it as a capitalist. We only see it as the one that is the capital. They're making gains off us. The world is making gains off us. Like we said it week in and week out. Us being in this position, the entire planet is benefiting off of that. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody is benefiting off our condition in the state that we in. Except us. We're not benefiting off of the state and condition. We're victimized by victims of the positions that we're in. You see? So when you look at the world stage in regards to when civil unrest happens in an area or a region, it's destabilized, it's controlled, it's the people against their government, it's the people against their military to live. We don't see it like that. You see what I'm saying? We don't see it like that because it looks commercialized, it looks glamorized. They make videos, movies off of that shit. Like that's just called living. If you were in a place, if you was in Mexico, if you was in Colombia, if you was in Cuba, if you was in any of these places outside of the confines of the United States, and you see how people live in the way that they live, would dictate what they're going through. And their relationship to their government and their government relationship to them versus universal healthcare systems. If you go over to Europe and all these other places like that, you see these things. So because the government is charged with taking care of its people in that type of environment that they call socialism or whatever, there's a different standard of care, a different quality of life that exists for those people. So when you see, I'm not bigging up no ism over one ism. You see capitalism versus socialism or capitalism versus communism. None of these are solutions for us. So we can't find no solutions in any of that at all. We work in egalitarianism as Black people. That's the concept of it take a village to raise a child that they took and warped into another kind of concept called socialism, another kind of concept called communism. If I did something wrong to you or I showed out in your neighborhood, the neighborhood supposed to come see me. So I'll learn the rules and regulations of that neighborhood real quick. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so
Mm-hmm.
like I used to go to 40 projects back in the day all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like I like the way to conduct myself over there in 40Ps. Otherwise, I had to contend with the whole project. You see what I'm saying? So your cultural environment shows you how you're supposed to move in a certain kind of way, and all these places show us is they have no problem with taking our lives at all on any level, whether it's economically, whether it's socially, physically, emotionally, psychologically. 100% in agreement that uh, our life is expendable. You can't even talk about matter because matter exists. It's not destroyed, it simply changes form. So if you use a word like matter, it becomes a matter of whether your life has relevance or something that shouldn't be discussed. If we're all supposed to be citizens in this place, everybody's supposed to be an American. Evidently, there's a breaking communication about who the American is and how an American gets treated. That's why I asked you, who do the cops work for? The cops are supposed to work for the taxpayer. So who instead of the taxpayer? Those who own property and who own business. So the police agents are there, and they make for the city based on the arrests that they make for people who aren't citizens, who don't contribute to the society. The useless eaters, as they call them, they can levy sanction against a private person, meaning they can lock you up and they get paid for it. They can go to the hospital, you take your children to the hospital, they can kill your children and they get paid for it. They can tell you got a disease and kill you and get paid for it. You do not contribute to the overall society. So whether you go to a job and you say I'm a taxpayer, you're not the same as another person who contribute to that system. You're a person that is capitalized on, and they give you a stipend to live. This is why we use terms and shit like minority. We use words like minority. A minor is someone that needs a guardian attached to them. They can't operate or think for themselves. They can't make their own decisions. So if we have a dispute, you and I, and we can't settle out, go to the public, and in the public levy sanction against both of us. This experience, and then they render a judgment. So all of these words are used and they crouch in a kind of way. They push this stuff against us, and they pit us against one another. Because somebody got to go to jail, somebody got to go to the cemetery, somebody got to go to the mental institution, somebody got to be on medication, all this stuff. So the useless eaters are the ones that feed the society, but the society feeds off those useless eaters because they can't pull this stuff on regular citizens. We've been in this country for 400 years. We're going 401 years, 1620. Our effort, our blood, sweat, and tears, and everything is basically free labor. Even if you're getting paid for it now, they can't pay you for what you did. They can't pay you for what you did. They can subject you and they can give you gifts. Like if you remember that movie back in the day, The Big White Hype, they showed the relationship between Don King and Mike Tyson in the movie, and they made a joke out of it. So whenever he asked for his money, they gave him some cars, they gave him some things. You understand what I'm saying? So we know people in the entertainment industry, they rule by things. They don't have anything that they really own. You can't own anything in this society. You can only be owned in this society. So when you become a victim of a crime, because if you the criminal, you go into the criminal justice system, and the criminals are going to dispense justice on you on one side and levy sanction or take money from you on the other side. So now you become criminalized. So
do you believe that we should? Do you believe that we should learn and practice the sovereign law, that we may be governed by sovereign law?
Can't be sovereign in a place where you're oppressed. So that's like a pipe dream. I ain't talking about none of that shit. I'm talking about understanding where we are and where that thing where it has merit and worth at. Understanding that.
I only ask that because I know that Lauryn Hill practices as under the sovereign law or whatever, and it freed her from um being governed by the laws of the land. Um, and this is why she can't make any money on U.S. soil. And that was what with Wesley Snipes was also formulating. He didn't fully do it and ended up going to jail in the midst of processing it. So that's the reason
You know
I
what?
asked though.
You know what diplomatic immunity is?
Yeah, but I want you to explain to our viewers what it is.
Diplomatic immunity means that this is a status that you in contact with from another nation that has a treaty with a nation that you're entering in, that you're as an emissary and you can't be charged with no crime. So, the idea of sovereignty that, oh, I'm not a citizen, I don't pay to your government. Somebody come over from Jamaica and they start wilding, they're gonna sit in their ass in Jamaica. They come from another nation, they can always extradite them and let their country deal with them because they can't really deal with them. You see what I'm saying? All they could do is come here, and they could do whatever they want basically, and then if they do too much, they're gonna send them back. Like my man caught some bodies over here, they send them back to Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like they locked him up a couple times, and it's like, all right, now we send you back to Jamaica. You see what I'm saying? So in that kind of status, it's kind of like when people are playing games about sovereignty. Like sovereignty can only happen if you are a sovereign nation. They about like you hear this stuff. People say, "Oh, I'm gonna declare my nationality." Like from what? Like you like American history is so like for it to only be Union, they done rejoined the Union, they done had a war on the of who gonna do what with black people. They ain't did all of this stuff on the same soil, right? So this stuff, all of the little in the book, the only way to remove people from power is through war, and then you institute a new government.
Man, my co-host was getting a little deep. Y'all know whenever you start talking a certain language, man, the Illuminati, they start messing with your computers. They start playing with your screen. Yo, you there, champ?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You know the Illuminati playing with you, man. You going too deep. You know what I'm saying? You can't be You can't be illuminating the Illuminati, man. They don't want you to be illuminating. They don't want you to be
I don't
doing
blame
that
them.
now.
I don't blame them. You know what I'm saying? I'm just speaking, real. Like there's some people. If you got a little situation that work for you, keep it to yourself. Don't be telling people because people go
Now
try it
you
and they go to jail.
listen.
You know what I'm
Look,
saying?
and
Wesley
that's
Snipes went to
look,
jail. Lauryn Hill went to jail. Blah blah. She said she felt like she didn't have to pay taxes. She went to jail. You see what I'm saying?
yo,
There's
it's
a
so
lot of
real. What
situations
you
like
say?
that.
Look, what you saying is so real because I just was telling this lady this morning. I said, "Have you ever paid attention to the fact that during slavery times, the higher your education was, the more, the worse the penalty was for you. If you knew your ABCs, they cut your fingers off. If you knew how to
Right,
count, they cut your fingers off. If you knew how to read, they killed you,
right,
right? So when you show a certain level of intelligence, even now they kill you. Look
right.
at Tupac. You look at Malcolm. You look at Martin. You look at Nipsey Hussle. You look at these different brothers, and and you get to see the revelation behind um the way this society is built on when we start informing each other about being owners, being unified, they say, "Oh no, this nigga is crazy." And if this message get too far and they
Yeah,
start really listening to him, it's gonna be a problem. He gotta go.
right,
He gotta go. Pac, yo, Tupac went to jail for alleged rape, right?
right.
And he actually shot the cops for jumping a black man from something like 80, 100 yards out,
Mm-hmm.
and didn't go to jail for it.
Right.
Right? He was highly educated because he had the Black Panther teaching because his mom was a Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So he's highly educated. They was scared. He used music to articulate different things. Right? I see no changes. All I see is racist faces. It's so real. Right? They couldn't kill him for that. But they killed him for the other messages. Right?
Right.
Like they had to kill him for these other messages. Martin Luther King, when he showed us, look, we can't protest. We have to boycott. We have to cost them some money. They're gonna hear us out. You boycott first, then you protest. When they start seeing us, we your phone is your thing is muted. But when you start costing them money and and you breaking up their system by costing them money or whatever, that was super offensive to them. They knew they was gonna get Martin back. They just had to figure out how they was gonna get it back. The the Black Panthers would still be here if they didn't send Huey P. Newton to jail. Once he went to jail, they didn't have no one there to teach defense. And remember, I think it was a cousin that was like a crackhead or something like that, or somebody's family member that was within the infiltration. Right? We have to stand firm in unity and stop allowing them to infiltrate the things that we put together that's designed for us. It's for us by us, for black people by black people. But then when we allow the government or any one white person to infiltrate it, it becomes something that's tampered with, it's diluted, it's automatically taken away.
I don't know if I should say no more. They start fucking with my microphone and cutting me out of here when I start talking.
Man, listen, man, it's 6:05, man. You take 3 minutes and just do what you do, man. Then we can wrap this up or whatever. I know you got a lot of other things to do or whatever the case might be.
I got a
Um,
show in 5 minutes.
yeah, so just take 2 or 3 minutes and just you know finish up what you were saying or whatever. I'm gonna give a shout out and I'm gonna let you get to the next show, man. On to the next one.
Word. Let me shout my sister out, Barbiette, right here. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all go
God bless you,
subscribe
my
to her.
sister.
She done took a hiatus and she back. You know what I'm saying? Just had a new baby. She out here building, doing her thing. She had
Whenever she
everything
ready,
right.
she can get on the show. Tell her to come do some boss talk with BossedUp Staxx, man. I'm always for it.
Yeah, she need to come over here. She been on hiatus. Okay, her king man. Shout out to Born man. Um, a thing that unifies a people is warfare. We could have issues. Me and you, we could be brothers. We could be cousins. We could just be homies. We could have issues. You could be mad at me or mad at you. Let somebody try to come against you. See how it change. It's a grand unifier. Nations have unified. This nation has unified because of warfare. It wouldn't be the United States. That's why they're using that term, United States. United States of America, because when something happened in this place, cats went to war and they died. That's another thing that brings people together. People dying. You gotta understand that. There's casualties in war, and how much collateral damage can you take? When you think about losses in business and stuff like that, you be like, whatever, blah blah blah. We got a certain amount in regards to that. But when you say one life is too many, what you gonna do to preserve that life? I don't believe you that Black Lives Matter because you ain't kill nobody to protect it. You ain't kill nobody to protect no black life. That's a different instance. That sends a different message. There's another situation. So these entities, y'all call them people, that have set up these family systems, because only families institute systems. They have set up these systems for their protection, and their protection is based off of our detriment. So we could look at each other and look to have war amongst each other while the world feeds on us, on that fear of us being able to do anything for ourselves, and that we don't come from a people that took care of business like they supposed to. That right, we just come from some docile chunk people. I don't know no chunk people and nobody family. You mess with somebody family, you gonna have to deal with that family. You understand what I'm saying? It's only as of late where I would see somebody looking at the actions of their children, not defending their children. They defend their children in public, and if they got some business to handle when they get home, they handle that shit at home. I don't see that. I don't see that no more. Like that, that's broken. That's broken. And we got some food, and our neighbors was starving. Our neighbors was eating with us. That's gone. You talking about it all the time, Staxx. Like with our eldership, our relationship with one another is very, very strained. And there has to be a situation or a catalyst that comes about to get us to see one another. Me and you
Right.
could have been fist fighting. You know what I'm saying? Whoever won after that, it was over with.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I got my friends. That's how I got people that was in my corner. Either we was fighting each other or fighting somebody else. And oftentimes than not, the ones that fought with you was the ones that stayed with you, and the ones who was just cool with you, that shit faded. So real, like we've been through, all kind of hell in this place, and what we gonna benefit for. That's why I say the only kind of conversation to be having is reparations, because that's repair. That's repair. If you commit uh, a a crime out here, you have to pay restitution. If you commit a crime out here, you have to pay restitution. If I'm out here uh, wilding and I tear up something in the city, I go to court. Guess what I got? I got court costs. I got lawyer fees. I got restitution to pay. All these things that happen. All these things that happen. These atrocities that happen to our people, to whom it applies, because everybody ain't our people. To whom it applies,
Right.
a debt is owed. So for those who it don't apply to, you seek your grievances, you seek your repair through whatever means that you see necessary to get yours. You know. So for the ones like the scriptures say, as for me and my house, you understand? That's a different language. You see what I'm saying? That's a different language. As for me and my house, that's a different language. We coming to get ours another kind of way. So when you talking about repairing the people, restitution and making someone whole again, we got rules for that. You see what I'm saying? We got rules for that. So we don't exist in the same kind of way as somebody else. That's how you know who your family is. Because we got a tumultuous history on this soil right here about who our family is and who our family is. But we gotta be mindful of
Right.
that. And when it's on, your family
It's
gonna fight
on.
with you. You understand what I'm saying? And the
Right,
ones who
right.
ain't in your family, whether they your family or not, they haul ass. That's it. It's a wrap. You know what time it is.
Yeah, no coming back.
So Father says she good to come on next week. Bang bang. There you go.
My sister, come, man. We gonna get the flyer made. We gonna have you on the show, my sister, man. I want you to share some of this elusive intelligence that I'm pretty sure that you have. Um, they say iron sharpens iron, right? Um, Knowledge born, man. I appreciate having you, man, just for this, brief time or whatever. Once a month, right?
Yeah, once a month. Once a month.
Once a month. Once a
Keep it
month.
on
It's
point.
funny. It's funny, man. You came in here. You came in here locked and loaded, baby. You know what I'm saying? Go get the strap.
Yo, it's election day, man. You know what I'm saying? The people gonna be talking all kind of mess all day. They've been talking all this kind of mess, man, and then like it just go from one extreme to another with all this stuff, man. Like,
Like I tell people, man, in order for you to know your future, you gotta know your history. How could
right,
you how could you vote for two different presidents and you see the results from each of them And I give different examples of Biden so that people can understand. Okay, you voting for Biden for all of these different reasons, but what about this one thing that y'all keep missing? He was the vice president, and African American men was placed in prison at a high rate. At a high rate when he was the vice president. He was trying to make Obama look bad,
And
right?
killed by police at a high
Like
rate.
at a high rate,
Mm-hmm.
right? And people tend to miss that. Well, he's a one young lady I spoke to earlier, MTA worker, man. Shout out to her. I don't even know her name or whatever. I ain't even asked. But she she was like, well, I voted for Biden because I'm against sending immigrants back home, and I'm um like okay, like you know that him sending immigrants home affects you how?
Right.
Like, how does that affect you? How does that affect your kid? When you leave out of Harlem
What's
and
your
you go
unemployment
downtown,
rate? Can you get
look
a
when you
job right now? Like,
but she worked for the MTA, right? So it's like she's like, I could leave here and go work for the post office. I could do all, but I'm like, if when you leave your neighborhood and you go downtown Manhattan, you start to see how they poison us in our neighborhoods, right? You uptown in Harlem, you see a liquor store every 10 blocks, a check cashing place. The liquor store is right across the street from it or right next door. And they pretty much saying, come get this poison after you cash your check, right? Or come spend your money on these lottery tickets. But when you go downtown, you see it say wine and spirits. And then it may have little liquor in there, but it's not uh Devil Springs and all of these other cheap liquors and all this poison or whatever. Like they actually sell wine to white people more so. And then there's no check cashing places. There's only banks, right? And it's a high level of regard that they have for white people, right? So now, like, you know, they call us all kind of things, and we held this conversation before, right? It's more white people on welfare than it is black people or whatever. But we are the minority or whatever. The reason that we are the minority is the exact reason, right? There is no unity amongst us. You can't even. My mom told me one day. She said, "Yo, I remember when I was a kid. She said I remember I would get 4 ass whippings for doing something wrong. I'm like 4 ass whippings. That's a lot. She like, yeah. Whoever caught me doing something wrong will whip my ass. Then somebody else will whip my ass. Then somebody will bring me to my mom, but they whipping my ass while they bring me to my mom. That's 3 ass whippings. Then my mom gonna whip my ass. Right?
right.
You can't even say nothing. You can't even say nothing to a person, kid, nowadays without it turning into a brawl or fight. Like you gonna tell somebody, kid, look, yo, smoke this crack right here. Like you really gonna tell somebody something wrong, somebody's kid something wrong. They say it take a village to raise a kid, but there is no stamp of approval for me to say something to your kid. But if I said, let me buy your kid a pair of sneakers, that's okay. Let me get your kid a haircut. Let me give him a couple of dollars. That's okay. You bring your kid to my door when it's time to trick or treat, but I can't tell your kid, look, I don't want to see you hop the train because I don't want these cops to try to say nothing to you. Why the fuck did you tell my kid anything? That's my kid. You know what? I'm gonna keep my candy to myself when he come knocking on this door with that costume on. Like, yo, listen, man. I enjoy having you every time, man. I enjoy seeing you, man. Peace to you, peace to your family, man. You know what I'm saying? I love you. You know what I'm saying? Like cook food, man. Uh go tend to your next show, man. My shout outs is um to my boo, Elianza, man. She got some eyelashes, man. If y'all want to support, man, Elianza's collections on Instagram or whatever. They full real mink lashes. Ladies, they only $10. Y'all could go support that or whatever. Um, if you in New York, as long as you somewhere, if you're in New York, I'll come deliver them joints to you. Myself personally, my days off is kind of convenient. Um,
Buffalo? You coming to Buffalo?
if you're in New York City, I'm coming to.
Like, yo,
But I
son,
know,
I'm in Niagara Falls, son. Where them lashes at, son?
I know some headers in Niagara Falls, and due to incarceration, I
Big
know a few
Mountains,
people
son.
in
I'm in
Rochester and
Poughkeepsie.
different places like that. Shout out to my man Pierre McFlair, man. He just he's transitioning to open up the door on a broad scale from just being an artist, just being a rapper to he's starting to model now. Like one of these things is gonna pay off, and I'm gonna get recognized for one of them, and then it's gonna open the door for the other. Man, shout out to my boy, man. Like, keep winning, King. Um, Shout out to Star Smiles. There's a young lady named T Sexy, man. Shout out to her, man. She just hit 105 with her new song called Bounce or whatever. It's an ass shaking song, but shout out to her. She's winning. Hopefully she brings the people with her. Hopefully I could get her for an interview. Shout out to my man T Paris or whatever. He's always giving a different perspective and outlook on different things that we deal with um internally. That's what's called a moral dilemma and how it affects us in the outward appearance. Shout out to my man Bugatti Biggs, man. I'm trying to get him back up and running or whatever. Like, the takeover is gonna be real soon, man. If it's anybody, oh, shout out to this young lady named Stevie. She's out there in LA or whatever, Compton area. She was dealing with Nipsey Hussle, from what I heard, man. I'm trying to get her and the young lady from 2 weeks ago, Matrimony, to do a song together so that we could do what's called All Star Weekend on one track or whatever, where we have East to the West Coast artists, just not battling, but opening up the doors for relationship, for correlation, for networking, for opportunity. Like, that's what it's about. Shout out to Sherelle, man. Shout out to her for her book or whatever. Let's just name it for now. Let's just name it her testimony. A testament to her lifestyle and how it can help transition someone else's. Um,
Sherelle was the one I was trying to get in the whole time. Remember?
yeah,
That's her.
yeah, that was her.
That's
So
what's up right
so
there.
so so check it, right. I actually have two Galaxy phones, and I knew that she would be able to get on Google Chrome. To get on the show, she would have to do Google Chrome. She has an iPhone. Shout out to Team iPhone, but y'all can't get on my show with an iPhone. I'm sorry. Y'all gotta get to Google Chrome to get on the show or whatever. So I saw her and I'm like, yo, look, when you gonna get on the show? And she was like, look, I can't give up too much information because I'm writing this book. I said, come get on my show, and I gave her my phone. I know that I'm gonna see her again. So hold the phone down, get on the show, and let's work. And today just happened to be the day that she built that. Um, she hit me up and reminded me, yo, I got the phone. You could come get it. I said, not until you do the show. I'll be there to get my phone real soon or whatever. So shout out to Sherelle, man, and shout out to anybody that is for the people, right? Like, if you for the people, man, come represent being for the people by coming on the show and sharing your wisdom. Like, knowledge is nothing if you're not willing to share it. This is the reason that the name of the show is Due to Knowledge. It's so that we could keep each other informed. It's so that we could stop being statistics. So that we are the majority, but we play the role of the minorities. Like, let's build unity amongst each other, man. I'm still looking for nine other people that's interested in saving $50 a week for 1 year. That's $2,600 for a year in a year, and that is between the 10 of us. That's $26,000 in a year, and we can open a business together. I don't care where you from or whatever. I just hope that you are an honest person. And the reality is, just like my brother said, in the midst of war, right? This is the war that we are fighting right now. We are being oppressed because our we are not owners. We are owners. Our money doesn't speak. So let's build unity and put this money together and build ideas and transform the future for our kids, their kids, and someone else's kids, man. That's peace and love, man. Now let's go and get to your next show, man. I see you working hard over there.
Word, that's on in motion already. They're already rocking. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, peace, 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 and don't forget to send me the link so I can send everybody the link that need to see this on YouTube.
All right.
Enjoy, man. Be safe.
All right, peace.